The 1892 no mint mark half-dollar, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, is one of the most historically important and collectible U.S. coins because it represents the very first year of issue of the Barber half-dollar series, designed by Chief Engraver Charles E. Barber, and though millions were minted, the scarcity of high-grade survivors and the significance of its debut year make it an extremely desirable coin today. With pristine, well-preserved examples reaching market values of $600 or more in numismatic trade, depending on grade, condition, and eye appeal. The Barber half-dollar series ran from 1892 to 1915 and replaced the long-running seated Liberty, design that had been used on U.S. half-dollars since the 1830s. By the late 1880s, there was growing dissatisfaction with the outdated seated Liberty design, and public calls for modernization eventually led the Treasury and Mint to introduce new coinage. A design competition was held in 1891, but after receiving what the Mint deemed unsatisfactory submissions, Mint Director Edward O. Leach turned to the Mint's own chief engraver, Charles E. Barber, to create the new designs for the dime, quarter, and half-dollar. Barber's approach was more conservative than artistic, but his designs became iconic, instantly recognizable, and were in use for over 2 decades. On the obverse of the 1892 half-dollar, Liberty is depicted in classical style with a Phrygian cap symbolizing freedom, a laurel wreath crown denoting victory and honor, and a small headband inscribed with the word Liberty. Surrounding the portrait are 13 stars representing the original colonies, along with the motto, "In God We Trust," placed prominently above Liberty's head and the date 1892 below. The reverse design features a heraldic eagle modeled after the Great Seal of the United States, with outstretched wings, holding an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, symbolizing peace and strength, while a ribbon above the eagle carries the motto, "E pluribus unum." The eagle is encircled by inscriptions, United States of America and half-dollar, with 13 stars above the eagle's head. This patriotic and bold design immediately resonated with the public, and the coin's debut in 1892 marked the beginning of an entirely new era in U.S. half-dollars. The Philadelphia Mint, being the main facility of the U.S. Mint, struck over 935,000 of these coins in 1892 without a mint mark, yet despite that mintage, the survival rate in high grades is low, largely because most entered circulation and endured heavy wear in commerce. For this reason, circulated examples are relatively common and affordable, but uncirculated or near-gem specimens are scarce, and it is these condition rarities that drive strong demand among collectors and fetch values of $600 or more. The coin is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighs 12.5 grams, and measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter with a reeded edge, making it a substantial piece of silver that not only carries intrinsic metal value, but also strong numismatic appeal. Because of its composition, many 1892 Barber half-dollars were melted over the decades, especially during periods when silver prices surged, further reducing the number of surviving coins. From a grading standpoint, the value of an 1892 no mint mark half-dollar is heavily tied to condition. Coins graded good, G4, to very fine, VF, trade for modest premiums above silver melt, while extremely fine, XF, and about uncirculated AU examples command higher values. In mint state, MS60 and above, the coin becomes considerably scarcer, with MS63, MS65 examples particularly prized, often exceeding $600 in value depending on eye appeal, luster, and strike quality. Proof versions were also struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1892, with a mintage of just over 1,000 pieces, and these are rare and highly valuable today, often selling for several $1,000s. Collectors often pursue the 1892 no mint mark Barber half-dollar as a type coin, since it represents the first year of the Barber design and is essential to completing any Barber series collection. Additionally, the 1892 issue is part of a fascinating set of 4 half-dollar varieties from that year: Philadelphia, no mint mark; New Orleans, O mint mark; San Francisco, S mint mark; and the special 1892 O micro O variety, which is a key rarity. This makes the 1892 series particularly attractive to variety and mint mark specialists. The 1892 Philadelphia issue is also important for its historical context. It was struck at a time when the U.S. economy was transitioning into the modern industrial age, and coinage reform was seen as a way of refreshing national symbolism in line with America's growing power and confidence. The Barber half-dollar circulated widely across the country, becoming a coin that ordinary Americans used daily in business, commerce, and travel, embedding it deeply into the cultural fabric of its time. Collectors today value the 1892 no-mint mark half-dollar for its blend of historical importance, beauty, and collectability. While some criticize Barber's designs as less ornate compared to the seated Liberty or later walking Liberty designs, others appreciate their boldness, clarity, and distinctly American character. The durability of Barber's work is evident in how well these coins held up to circulation, as even heavily worn examples often retain identifiable details. From a numismatic perspective, the 1892 no-mint mark half-dollar is a wonderful entry point into the Barber series, as it is historically significant without being prohibitively expensive in lower grades, yet challenging and rewarding to acquire in top condition. Collectors also prize coins with attractive toning, particularly rainbow hues caused by natural oxidation over decades of storage, as these can greatly enhance eye appeal and value. Auction records show steady demand for this issue, and values for high-grade examples have remained strong, reflecting the continued popularity of the Barber series. The market for Barber half-dollars is robust because the series itself is challenging to complete, with many low mintage issues and condition rarities, but it is also accessible to beginners thanks to the availability of circulated examples. This balance makes the series highly attractive, and the 1892 no-mint mark issue stands out as one of the most collectible because of its status as the very first of its kind. The long-term investment potential of coins like the 1892 Barber half-dollar is solid, as demand continues to grow among both U.S. and international collectors. Silver content provides a baseline of intrinsic value, but the numismatic premium, especially for high-grade or proof examples, is what truly drives its market performance. For those who appreciate history, art, and tangible assets, the 1892 no-mint mark half-dollar offers a fascinating blend of all three. Owning such a coin means holding a piece of the transition from the 19th to the 20th century, a time when America was asserting itself on the world stage, and coinage was an important part of expressing national identity. Ultimately, the 1892 no-mint mark half-dollar is more than just silver. It is a miniature canvas of American history, designed by one of the most influential engravers in U.S. mint history, produced at the nation's primary mint facility, and circulated among generations of Americans before being preserved by collectors. Its story, its artistry, and its rarity in higher grades combine to make it a true treasure, with values up to $600 in today's market for the best-preserved specimens, ensuring its place as one of the essential coins of American numismatics. Next up, the 1908 no-mint mark half-dollar is a fascinating coin for both casual collectors and seasoned numismatists. It belongs to the famous Barber half-dollar series, which was struck between 1892 and 1915 and designed by Charles E. Barber, the chief engraver of the United States Mint. The lack of a mint mark indicates that the coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use mint marks on its coinage during this period. This coin represents not only a piece of American numismatic history, but also a snapshot of the U.S. economy and culture at the start of the 20th century. While millions of half-dollars were produced in the early 1900s, the survival of well-preserved 1908 Philadelphia strikes makes them highly collectible, and in higher grades, they can command a market value as high as $500. From a design perspective, the 1908 half-dollar follows the iconic Barber style. On the obverse, it features the head of Liberty, facing right, wearing a Phrygian cap and laurel wreath with a small headband inscribed with Liberty. Surrounding her are 13 stars, representing the original colonies, and the motto, "In God We Trust," above, with the date below. The reverse of the coin showcases a heraldic eagle modeled after the Great Seal of the United States, clutching arrows and an olive branch to symbolize both war and peace. Above the eagle is the motto, "E pluribus unum," and the edge of the coin reads United States of America, with the denomination $half clearly inscribed. Barber's design has often been described as bold and simple, yet it has become a favorite among collectors because of its classic 19th to 20th century artistry. The historical context of the 1908 $half adds to its charm. The early 20th century was a time of immense change in America, marked by industrial growth, urbanization, and social reform. Theodore Roosevelt had recently left the presidency, and William Howard Taft was elected in 1908, ushering in a new era of U.S. leadership. During this time, the mint was producing large quantities of circulating silver coins, and the Barber $half was among the most widely used pieces of silver currency. Its purchasing power was significant compared to today. A $half in 1908 could buy a full meal, several loaves of bread, or a week's worth of milk. Thus, the 1908 no-mint mark $half not only circulated heavily, but also became a tangible part of everyday American life. When it comes to rarity and condition, the 1908 Philadelphia $half is not the rarest Barber half, but high-grade survivors are significantly harder to find than circulated examples. Most of these coins were used in commerce, resulting in heavy wear, flat details, and surface marks. As a result, coins in good G or very good VG condition are fairly common, but those in extremely fine XF, about uncirculated AU, or mint state MS condition are much scarcer. A coin's strike quality, luster, and the presence of original surfaces all play key roles in determining its overall desirability. Collectors who pursue Barber halves by date and mint mark often pay special attention to 1908 Philadelphia issues because of their availability in lower grades and scarcity in high-end grades. The market value of the 1908 no mint mark $half today reflects these factors. In heavily worn condition, it may only sell for $20 to $50, which is just slightly above its silver melt value. However, as condition improves, the value rises sharply. Coins with sharp details and minimal wear graded MS63 or higher by PCGS or NGC are where the true collector premiums emerge, and such examples can command several $100s. Exceptional mint state examples with strong eye appeal can bring prices as high as $500, showing the strong collector demand for well-preserved Barber halves. This value also reflects the historical significance and enduring popularity of the series among collectors, who view it as both a challenge and a rewarding. Pursuit collectors are also drawn to the Barber $half series for its broader significance in U.S. coinage. As the last $half design before the walking, Liberty Series began in 1916. The Barber coins mark the transition between late 19th century and early 20th century U.S. numismatic art. Many coin enthusiasts find the series particularly challenging to complete because certain dates and mint marks are extremely scarce, such as the 1892 O Micro O or the 1897 O. Compared to those rarities, the 1908 Philadelphia issue is more accessible, but still offers significant value in higher grades. This balance between availability and scarcity makes it a popular coin for both beginner and advanced collectors alike. The investment potential of the 1908 $half is another factor worth noting. While common circulated examples will likely track closely with silver bullion prices, high-grade certified examples have proven to be strong long-term investments. As the population of surviving coins in mint state condition is relatively small, demand continues to outpace supply. Additionally, Barber $half as a whole have been gaining more recognition among younger collectors who are beginning to appreciate their historical context and design. With the coin market's continued focus on condition rarity, coins like the 1908 no mint mark $half in top condition have excellent potential for price growth in the years to come. In conclusion, the 1908 no mint mark $half is far more than just a piece of old silver. It is a coin rich in history, design, and collector appeal. From its bold Barber design to its place in early 20th century America, this coin stands as both a practical tool of commerce and a piece of numismatic art. While heavily worn examples remain affordable, top-quality pieces can command impressive premiums, with market values reaching $500 for well-preserved mint state examples. Collectors prize it not only for its beauty and scarcity, but also for its role in the broader Barber series and American history. Whether you are a seasoned collector seeking to complete a set or a new hobbyist looking for a coin with rich historical context, the 1908 no-mint mark half-dollar remains a coin well worth pursuing, treasuring, and passing on to future generations. The 1908 no-mint mark half-dollar is a fascinating and collectible coin from the Barber half-dollar series designed by Charles E. Barber and struck at the Philadelphia Mint, representing not only a classic piece of numismatic history, but also a cultural artifact from early 20th century America, with its obverse featuring Liberty, wearing a Phrygian cap and laurel wreath inscribed with Liberty, and its reverse showcasing the heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, a design admired for its simplicity and boldness. And while millions were minted, the vast majority were heavily circulated, leaving well-preserved high-grade examples significantly scarcer and more valuable, with condition being the single most important factor in determining worth, as circulated pieces may only bring $20 to $50, while coins certified in mint state by PCGS or NGC can bring several $100s, with the finest examples commanding as much as $500, making them highly desirable to collectors who appreciate both the artistry and historical significance of the Barber series, which was minted between 1892 and 1915 and marked the last half-dollar design before the Walking Liberty series began. And historically, the 1908 half-dollar circulated widely in an America that was undergoing industrial growth and social change during the Taft era, when a half-dollar coin held significant purchasing power, making it not only a piece of silver but a symbol of daily life in early 20th century America. And collectors today pursue this coin not only to complete Barber half-dollar date and mint mark sets, but also for its long-term investment potential. Since high-grade examples are increasingly scarce and demand continues to outpace supply, with Barber halves as a whole gaining popularity among modern collectors, and ultimately, the 1908 no-mint mark half-dollar remains more than a coin. It is a bridge between eras, a tangible relic of commerce, a work of numismatic art, and a collectible that in pristine form can achieve a market value of $500, ensuring its place as a prized treasure for both collectors and investors alike. Next up, the 2021 D-Mint Mark half-dollar is a fascinating coin that has quickly captured the attention of collectors and numismatists, despite being a relatively modern issue. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin carries the familiar D-Mint mark that identifies its origin, and it stands as part of the long-running Kennedy half-dollar series. While most half-dollars struck in the 21st century were produced in large quantities and primarily distributed through collector channels rather than everyday circulation, certain factors have elevated the status of the 2021 D-Mint Mark half-dollar in the coin market. Its current market value of around $700 is particularly impressive considering its recent production year, and this value is driven by a combination of rarity in high grades, collector demand, and the enduring legacy of the Kennedy half-dollar series. To truly understand the appeal of this coin, one must consider its historical background, design details, condition rarity, grading standards, and the shifting dynamics of the numismatic market. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963. Its release was meant as a tribute to the fallen leader, and the coin quickly became a symbol of national remembrance. Designed by Gilroy Roberts, obverse, and Frank Gasparo, reverse, the coin features Kennedy's left-facing profile on the obverse, while the reverse depicts the presidential seal with the heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows. Over time, the Kennedy half-dollar became a favorite among collectors, though its use in everyday commerce steadily declined. By the early 2000s, half-dollars were rarely encountered in circulation, as they were mainly struck for collectors in mint sets, proof sets, and numismatic rolls. This background is key to understanding why modern Kennedy half-dollars like the 2021 D-issue are particularly appealing to collectors. Today, they represent both a continuation of a historic series and a scarcity in circulation. The 2021 D. Kennedy half-dollar has a standard composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a total weight of 11.34 grams and a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. While these physical specifications align with half dollars struck since 1971, the significance of the 2021 issue lies not in its metal content, but in its limited availability and collector-driven distribution. Because fewer people actively use half dollars, many examples of the 2021 D coin remain in pristine condition, making condition and grading crucial in determining value. Lower-grade circulated coins may fetch modest premiums, but those preserved in uncirculated or high mint. State grades certified by PCGS, Professional Coin Grading. Service, or NGC, numismatic, guarantee company, can command values reaching and even exceeding $700 one. Of the most important aspects influencing the value of the 2021 D Mint Mark half dollars grading. Coins in grades like MS65, MS66, or MS67 often draw strong demand from collectors because they represent superior strike quality and excellent preservation. With modern minting technology, one might assume that nearly all coins leave the mint in perfect condition. But the reality is that even small imperfections such as bag marks, weak strikes, or minor surface scratches can reduce a coin's grade and value. High-grade specimens are particularly scarce, and when combined with the already limited demand for circulation strikes, these examples can generate bidding wars at auction. Collectors who specialize in registry sets, where they attempt to build the highest graded set possible, are especially eager to secure top-grade examples of recent issues like the 2021 D half dollar, which helps push values upward. Another factor contributing to the elevated value of the 2021 D half dollar is its place in modern numismatics. While older Kennedy half dollars, such as the 1964 silver issues, tend to dominate attention, newer releases have been gaining traction as collectors recognize their potential long-term value. The relatively low production numbers compared to circulation-era coins, combined with the fact that most examples were hoarded by collectors rather than spent in commerce, create a unique type of scarcity. Furthermore, the coin appeals to a new generation of collectors who are beginning their numismatic journey and want to acquire coins from the 21st century. This crossover appeal, between seasoned collectors completing long, date and mint mark runs of Kennedy halves and newer collectors seeking modern issues, ensures a healthy demand for the 2021 D half dollar. In terms of market value, the coin has shown steady appreciation since its release. Initially obtainable at face value or modest premiums through official channels, high-grade certified examples quickly began to rise in price. Today, examples graded MS66 or higher can bring $700 or more, and in rare cases, exceptional specimens may exceed that figure in specialized auctions. This makes the 2021 D half dollar an excellent case study in how modern coins can achieve significant premiums despite being relatively young in age. Collectors who obtained these coins directly from mint sets or rolls upon release are now seeing substantial returns on their investments, further fueling interest in modern half dollars as a whole. The design significance of the Kennedy half dollar also plays a major role in sustaining its popularity. The obverse portrait of Kennedy has become iconic, representing not just a U.S. president, but also a moment in American history that left a lasting impact. Collectors are often drawn to coins that carry strong historical or cultural associations, and the Kennedy half dollar is among the most recognizable coins of the modern era. The 2021 D issue, as part of this legacy, benefits from the symbolic power of the design, which continues to resonate with collectors decades after its debut. Additionally, collectors value the 2021 D half dollar for its error and variety potential. While no major nationally recognized mint errors have yet been reported for this issue, the possibility of discovering die cracks, double die obverses or reverses, off-center strikes, or other anomalies always exists. Such errors can dramatically increase the value of an individual coin, sometimes into the thousands of dollars. This adds an element of excitement for collectors who search through rolls or mint sets, hoping to find an exceptional variety. From a broader perspective, the 2021 D half dollar underscores the evolution of coin collecting in the 21st century. As physical currency use declines in favor of digital transactions, coins like the half-dollar are becoming increasingly obsolete in daily commerce, which paradoxically enhances their appeal to collectors. They are no longer just tools of trade, but artifacts of a cultural and historical era. This shift ensures that even modern issues like the 2021 D half-dollar will continue to be pursued, preserved, and valued by future generations. In conclusion, the 2021 D mint mark half-dollar, with its market value of around $700, represents the intersection of history, artistry, rarity, and modern numismatic trends. Its connection to the Kennedy legacy, its limited circulation availability, and its high-grade rarity all combine to make it a standout issue in the half-dollar series. For collectors, this coin is more than just a piece of copper nickel. It is a reminder of America's past, a symbol of modern coinage evolution, and a valuable asset in today's numismatic market. Whether preserved in pristine mint state condition or admired as part of a complete Kennedy half-dollar collection, the 2021 D half-dollar demonstrates that even modern coins can carry remarkable value and significance. Those who own this coin, especially in top condition, possess not just a piece of change, but a collectible worth treasuring for generations to come. Next up, the 1994 D mint mark half-dollar is a remarkable coin from the Kennedy half-dollar series that has steadily grown in interest and value among collectors. Struck at the Denver Mint and bearing the D mint mark, this coin belongs to a period in U.S. numismatic history when half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday transactions, but were still actively produced by the U.S. Mint, primarily for collectors and limited circulation. The Kennedy half-dollar series, which began in 1964 as a tribute to the late President John F. Kennedy, has long been a staple in American coinage, symbolizing both historical legacy and artistic design. While many Kennedy half-dollars minted in the 1990s were produced in large numbers, the 1994 D half-dollar stands out due to its condition rarity, collector demand, and long-term significance. Today, this coin can hold a market value of $900 in higher mint state grades, making it a standout piece among modern half-dollars. Understanding its value requires an exploration of its history, design, minting background, grading standards, and the role it plays in modern numismatics. The Kennedy half-dollar was born in 1964 following the tragic assassination of John F. Kennedy in November 1963. The coin was authorized by Congress almost immediately, reflecting the public's desire to honor the fallen president. Designed by Gilroy Roberts for the obverse and Frank Gasparro for the reverse, the coin quickly became one of the most beloved and collected issues in American history. The obverse features Kennedy's left-facing portrait, while the reverse displays the presidential seal with the heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows surrounded by stars. Since its release, the Kennedy half-dollar has held both sentimental and numismatic appeal, and collectors have pursued it across decades and mint marks. By the 1990s, however, the half-dollar was rarely seen in daily commerce. Most people encountered the coin only in mint sets, collector rolls, or proof sets, as the general public's use of half-dollars had greatly diminished. This lack of circulation is crucial in explaining why examples like the 1994 D half-dollar survive in higher condition, thus enabling them to command strong values in today's market. The 1994 D Kennedy half-dollar was struck in copper nickel-clad composition, consisting of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a total weight of 11.34 grams and a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. These specifications have been standard for half-dollars since 1971, when silver was removed from the circulation strike composition. Despite not being silver, the 1994 D half-dollar is still highly collectible because of its place in the Kennedy series and the scarcity of superb uncirculated examples. With modern minting techniques, one might assume that all coins would be struck in flawless condition. But in reality, bag marks, weak strikes, and minor surface abrasions are common, which limits the number of coins that grade MS65 or higher. It is in these upper grades that the 1994 D half-dollar achieves its premium values, often reaching around $900 when graded and certified by major third-party grading services like PCGS, Professional, Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. 1. Of the primary drivers of the 1994 D half-dollar's value is condition rarity. While millions were minted, most of them are available only in lower uncirculated or lightly circulated conditions. Finding coins that grade MS66, MS67, or higher is particularly difficult, and these coins often attract competitive bidding from collectors. Registry set collectors who attempt to build the finest known examples of each year and mint mark are especially keen to obtain high-grade 1994 D half-dollars, and their willingness to pay premium prices pushes the market upward. The historical and cultural significance of the Kennedy half-dollar series also plays an important role in sustaining demand for the 1994 D issue. Collectors often view the Kennedy half as more than just a piece of change. It is a symbol of American history, memorializing a president whose legacy continues to resonate. This emotional and historical attachment ensures that every year of the Kennedy series, including 1994, has a consistent collector base. For newer collectors, the 1994 D offers an affordable entry point compared to earlier silver issues, while for advanced collectors, securing a high-grade example adds prestige to their collection. The design elements of the coin also contribute to its ongoing popularity. Kennedy's portrait on the obverse, sculpted by Gilroy Roberts, conveys a strong and dignified image, while Frank Gasparo's reverse featuring the presidential seal remains one of the most iconic reverses in U.S. coinage. The enduring artistic appeal of the design ensures that coins like the 1994 D half-dollar remain desirable regardless of their composition. In addition to condition rarity and design, the coin's market trajectory has also been shaped by trends in modern numismatics. Over the past 2 decades, there has been a growing appreciation for modern-era U.S. coins, with collectors increasingly recognizing their long-term value potential. The 1994 D half-dollar, once overlooked as a common modern issue, has now become a sought-after piece in top condition, with auction results reflecting strong demand. Its current market value of $900 in high grade. Mint state is a testament to the coin's rising popularity. Collectors are also drawn to the 1994 D half-dollar because of the potential for mint errors and varieties. While not many major errors have been widely documented for this issue, the chance of finding die cracks, double die obverses, or off-center strikes always intrigues collectors. Error coins can multiply the value of a standard issue dramatically, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. This added layer of excitement makes searching rolls, mint sets, or bulk lots for anomalies particularly appealing to collectors. The grading process is another critical factor in determining the value of the 1994 D half-dollar. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and eye appeal. A coin that grades MS65 may sell for a modest premium, but one that grades MS67 or higher could be worth hundreds or even close to $900, given its scarcity in such condition. Collectors rely on PCGS and NGC certification not only for authentication but also for confidence in the assigned grade, which directly impacts market value. Beyond financial worth, the 1994 D half-dollar serves as an important artifact of U.S. coinage history. It represents the continuation of the Kennedy series during an era when half-dollars were transitioning fully into collector-oriented production. By the 1990s, the role of half-dollars in circulation had virtually disappeared, and their survival in high grades reflects this shift in purpose. Coins like the 1994 D half-dollar thus tell a broader story about how American currency has evolved, both in usage and in the collector market. In conclusion, the 1994 D mint mark half-dollar stands as a prime example of how modern coins can carry significant numismatic value. With a market value of $900 in higher grades, this coin highlights the importance of condition rarity, historical legacy, design appeal, and collector demand in determining value. The Kennedy half-dollar series remains one of the most enduring and beloved in U.S. coinage, and the 1994 D issue continues to attract attention from both seasoned and new collectors alike. For those fortunate enough to own one in pristine mint state condition, the coin is not just a collectible. It is a tangible piece of history, a reflection of numismatic evolution, and an asset with lasting value in the ever-changing coin market. Next up, the 1980 D Mint Mark half dollar is one of the fascinating coins from the Kennedy half dollar series that continues to spark interest among collectors in the numismatic world. Struck at the Denver Mint and carrying the D Mint mark, this coin belongs to a pivotal era when half dollars were still being produced in relatively large numbers but were rarely seen in everyday commerce. The Kennedy half dollar itself, first introduced in 1964 to honor the legacy of President John F. Kennedy after his assassination, quickly became an iconic American coin. Over time, however, its use in circulation diminished, and by the 1980s the coin was largely a collector's item rather than a circulating denomination. Despite its copper-nickel-clad composition and lack of intrinsic silver content, the 1980 D half dollar has emerged as a highly collectible issue in pristine condition, with some high-grade examples reaching a market value of around $2,100 today. This impressive figure highlights the importance of condition rarity, collector demand, and historical legacy in determining the true worth of modern U.S. coins. The Kennedy half dollar is not merely another piece of currency. It represents an enduring connection to American history and culture. When the coin was first released in 1964, it was met with overwhelming public enthusiasm, and millions of Americans hoarded the coin as a tribute to President Kennedy. By the 1980s, the coin's legacy was firmly established, but its role in commerce was fading. Most half dollars struck during this period were distributed through the Federal Reserve, but saw limited circulation, as businesses and individuals seldom used them in everyday transactions. For this reason, many 1980 D half dollars survive today in better-than-average condition, making the higher mint state examples particularly valuable to collectors. The coin's physical specifications are consistent with other post-1971 Kennedy halves. It is composed of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, weighs 11.34 grams, and has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. On the obverse, the portrait of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, captures a strong and dignified profile, symbolizing both leadership and remembrance. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparro, features the presidential seal, with the heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows encircled by stars. This design is not only patriotic, but has become one of the most recognized motifs in U.S. numismatics, further cementing the coin's appeal. One of the most compelling aspects of the 1980 D half dollar is its condition rarity. While the Denver Mint produced millions of these coins, most were not handled with the care necessary to preserve them in gem condition. Coins often picked up bag marks, abrasions, or weak strikes during the minting and distribution process. As a result, finding examples that grade MS66, MS67, or higher is extremely difficult, and this scarcity is precisely what drives their value up to $100 or more. Collectors who participate in registry sets, striving to assemble the finest known collections, compete heavily for such high-grade coins, making them highly desirable in the numismatic marketplace. The coin's value trajectory over time further illustrates its significance. When first issued in 1980, the half dollar was worth only its face value of 50 cents. Collectors could acquire rolls or mint sets without much expense. However, over the decades, as the availability of pristine examples diminished and the coin gained recognition as part of the Kennedy legacy, its value grew substantially. Today, certified examples in top mint state grades command hundreds and sometimes over $100, proving that even modern-clad half dollars can achieve remarkable numismatic value when rarity and condition intersect. Another critical factor in understanding the value of the 1980 D half dollar is the role of third-party grading services, such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These services provide authentication and standardized grading, which are essential in establishing market trust and value. A 1980 D half dollar graded MS65 may sell for a modest premium, but an MS67 example can skyrocket in value due to its rarity. Collectors pay a premium for these coins not only because of their superior condition, but also because they are independently certified, guaranteeing their authenticity and grade. The historical importance of the Kennedy half-dollar adds yet another layer of appeal to the 1980D issue. President John F. Kennedy remains one of the most admired and remembered figures in U.S. history, and coins bearing his portrait are more than just currency. They are symbols of a national legacy. Every Kennedy half-dollar, regardless of year or mint mark, carries this resonance, and the 1980D is no exception. Collectors are drawn to the emotional and cultural significance of the coin, ensuring that it maintains demand across multiple generations of numismatists. In addition to condition rarity and historical significance, there is also the possibility of errors and varieties, which can increase the value of individual 1980D half-dollars even further. While no major errors are widely documented for this issue, collectors always search for anomalies such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or die cracks. Such coins often fetch premiums far higher than standard issues, sometimes reaching several $1,000s depending on the rarity and visual impact of the error. This potential for discovery makes searching through rolls, bags, or mint sets of 1980D halves especially exciting for collectors. Another reason the 1980D half-dollar commands such interest is its place in the broader numismatic market of the late 20th century. By the 1980s, coin collecting in the U.S. was experiencing a resurgence, with more collectors entering the hobby and seeking to complete sets of modern issues. The Kennedy half-dollar series, with its enduring design and emotional connection, became a central focus for many. Coins like the 1980D, though initially overlooked due to their clad composition, gained recognition as integral parts of the series and began appreciating in value. Today, their appeal is further enhanced by their relative scarcity and gem condition and their role as representatives of a changing era in U.S. coinage. The market value of $100 for the 1980D half-dollar in high grades is a reflection of how collector demand, historical resonance, and condition rarity converge to determine worth. While lower-grade examples may be common and trade for only modest premiums, the highest quality specimens stand as valuable treasures in any collection. This dynamic highlights the importance of careful preservation, professional grading, and a deep appreciation for numismatic history. In conclusion, the 1980D mint mark half-dollar is much more than just a 50-cent piece struck at the Denver Mint. It is a coin that embodies the legacy of President John F. Kennedy, reflects the numismatic trends of the late 20th century, and demonstrates how modern coins can achieve impressive values when preserved in pristine condition. With its market value of around $2,100 in top grades, it serves as a reminder to collectors that every coin, regardless of composition or age, carries potential significance and worth. For those fortunate enough to own a high-grade example, the 1980D half-dollar is not just a collectible, it is a tangible connection to history, a reflection of artistry, and an asset that continues to appreciate in today's numismatic